All right, today we're going to look at Saturday's Rebel Stakes at Oaklawn Park, a Grade 2 $900,000 purse. This is a serious Kentucky Derby prep race here. We'll start with the one-horse Title Ready, ridden by Jose Ortiz, trained by Steve Asmussen. An interesting thing to note about Title Ready is in the pedigree. The broodmare sire of Title Ready is Monarchos, who run the second fastest Kentucky Derby of all time. You know, he won the Kentucky Derby, and the second dam of this horse is the Great Personal Ensign, a horse of, trained by Shug McGahee and owned by Ogden Phipps. Personal Ensign was an undefeated champion in the 1980s. So this is great two-turn dirt route pedigree on the bottom. I mean, you can't get you can't get much better than that through the tail female family. And you saw in Title Ready's comeback, this was his 3-year-old debut, his first try ever around two turns. They run a one-turn mile at Churchill, but this was his two-turn debut at Oaklawn. Added blinkers for the first time for it, went off at 9-2. You see duel here. He actually dueled a 4-5 favorite in that race, put the 4-5 favorite away, with ease. That the 4-5 favorite actually, ended up off the board. So this was a good performance. He drew off, got a good 94 speed figure, makes him, fairly competitive in this race on paper. And, he's had 4 workouts. You see 4 workouts here in the work tab since this race. So, Title Ready is a horse that's, he's got a competitive chance on paper. Now, we'll go back and watch this race, this February 1st race at Oaklawn Park. We'll take a look at his 3-year-old debut. Okay, Title Ready is going to be the 5-horse here. The 4-horse is the 4-5 favorite in this race. There they go. Both horses had a good break. You see the jockey of Title Ready, I believe this is Contreras. He's not going to let this 4-5 shot have it all his own way in the front end. So there he is, at his flank, applying some pressure early. You got a 70-1 shot on the outside. That's not the most encouraging thing when you got a hopeless long shot like that, kind of forcing the pace. But it's no big deal here. You've got the 4-5 in front. Title Ready perched off his flank in second. Contreras got a good hold of him here. Title Ready's he's pretty tractable. I mean, this is looks like he's moving pretty sweet here. Tractable young horse. But he's right at the throat latch now of the 4-5 favorite Transgress. So he's doing the dirty work for the closers in this race. Title Ready is. He could have let Transgress go and have it his own way and made a soft front end. He'd have given Transgress a tactical advantage, but he would have increased his chances. Right there, you see the jockey of Title Ready, Contreras, took a peek back about 5 or 10 seconds ago. There, he's confident he's got this horse beaten. Clearly, he does. 4-5 favorites got to go to a ride to keep up. Contreras just took another look back. So, very, very confident that Title Ready. He's looking around for competition here, and now Contreras goes to a ride. And, this is a good performance by Title Ready. 4-5 favorites still battling, but this duel is going to cost him second. The 4-horse here was clearly second best in the race. But Title Ready just took it to him, and he's finishing as good as these closers are. But, this was a good performance. It just took the 4-5 favorite, pressed him the whole way, dueled him into submission, won the race clear, drawn off. The gallop out wasn't great, but it was first time off the layoff. He run a good race. This was a useful comeback for Title Ready. All right, moving along, the 2-horse in this race is Curlin's Honor, a $1.5 million purchase at Fasig-Tipton-Timonium May sale. So a very, very expensive purchase. He debuted at Keeneland, was bet to 4-5 favoritism in a field of 9 in his debut. So, obviously, when you're paying 7 figures for a horse at a 2-year-old sellers, in order to bring 7 figures at a 2-year-old, so you got to really show something in that under tax show. So you got to show some speed and athleticism. But Curlin's Honor got the job done at 4-5 in his debut. Bump, long drive. got a good number. That's a real solid number. He was away a couple months, come back in February 25th at the fairgrounds, made his 3-year-old debut again at only 6 furlongs. You see here was a sloppy sealed track. So the track condition was, not too good. His big reputation carried him to 2 to 5 in the betting. We'll go watch this race. There were some interesting things that happened in this race. I mean, Corey Lannery, basically, I thought tried to give the horse an education in the race. I mean, you don't ride 2 to 5 favorites the way he rode him in this race, unless the race is a clear prep and you're trying to give him an education. So we'll go and take a look at Curlin's Honor's 3-year-old comeback race now. Okay, Curlin's Honor is breaking from post position 6 here. You see the track condition sloppy sealed. It's not raining, but it's a very wet track. 4-horse here completely blows the break and loses all chance. That's one less horse that Curlin's Honor has to beat. But you see him get away here. And an interesting thing here is that Corey Lannery, usually with a 2 to 5 favorite, you kind of want to keep him in a clear. You don't want to, drop him in, and he's in and among a wall of horses here. He's taking some, he's getting his face dirty, getting some kickback. But I mean, he is. It looked like an educational prep type race. I mean, this isn't kind of how you want, how you want to ride a 2 to 5 favorite here. You want to try to keep him in the clear, especially on a track like this, sloppy, muddy. But Lannery's back here. He's still in and among a wall of horses. He's looking for a seam. He's still looking for a seam. He thinks he has one here, but this is going to close on him. So he's got to get out here. Fortunately for him, this rider didn't come down and keep him closed there. But Lannery gets through here. He's going to get up to win. But what you want to note is watch how he rides him out after the wire. I mean, this is by design kind of thing. You don't see this too often. He actually hit him a couple times with the whip after the wire and keeps after him. So you see him, he's pushing and shoving on the horse still. So, I mean, he probably went another quarter mile after the race, maybe at a furlong. So I'm sure the trainer told him to do that, to ride him out after the wire. But that race was, just about getting an education. And that wouldn't discourage me that he only got an 81 speed figure. I mean, Lannery, put him behind a wall of horses, got mud and, got some slop kicked back in his face. You see the 4-horse here completely losing all hope at the start. But, don't get discouraged by that 81 figure. Okay, moving along from one son of Curlin to another, we've got Solimini, the strong 3-2 morning line favorite for Bob Baffert. Flavion Pratt coming in to ride. You see here a very impressive debut winner going 6.5 first time out. Got a good figure at Del Mar. Was bet to even money, so had a reputation coming in. Finished second to Bolt d'Oro in a race that was just extremely fast. I mean, this was the best performance by a 2-year-old last year. It was by Bolt d'Oro in the front runner, and there is no question about it. That was a great performance that day. Solomini runs sneaky well to be second in there. He comes back and he's second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Another gradual improvement with his figure. And then he crosses the wire first in the Los Al Futurity here. There was kind of a controversial disqualification, but he lost the win, placed third by the stewards. McKenzie come back and win his next race, and Instilled Regard. McKenzie won the Sham real easy, and then actually beat Bolt d'Oro to the wire, but was disqualified last week. Instilled Regard come back and win a graded stake at Fairgrounds next time. And you see the chasm that's 29.5 lengths back to the 4th horse in this race. So obviously the top three dominated in this 5-horse field. But one thing to note with Solomini, we're going to take a look here at his March 4th workout. I don't know how this horse, I'm not a big workout guy in so much as, Because some horses, horses have a way of training, and certain horses just aren't good work horses. Other horses, you can have a morning glory type horse who works great in the morning and doesn't run well. But I happened to catch Solomini's March 4th workout. I was kind of a little discouraged by it. I'll show it now. Okay, you see here, Solimini's in the orange cap. He's outside of a Baffert maiden named Restoring Hope. In fact, Restoring Hope's not a maiden. He won a maiden special weight race nice last time out. So I think he got something like, a mid-80s figure, maybe an 88 figure or something like that. So we're going to roll it here. Solomini in the orange cap. He's basically what you want to see here, is him just outwork Restoring Hope. I mean, right here, he's coming up to him, and you're just expecting this to be, just Solomini, a true, genuine Kentucky Derby prospect coming to a horse who just recently won his maiden race. Right here, Solomini's doing everything right. This is very, very impressive. You see here, he almost got taken out by a horse, but this is where I was kind of discouraged a little bit here. Look how easy Restoring Hope's going inside. The recent maiden winner is drawn off from him here, and Restoring Hope's. You see, Solomini's under more pressure. He kind of he had to be ridden very hard. He didn't seem to want to go by for some reason. So, like I said, I'm no clocker. I'm no workout expert. I do tend to pay attention to him, but I didn't think this was the kind of the kind of work that would really get me excited. I mean, it might get me excited about Restoring Hope, but that was Solomini's work 2 back. Okay, so now we go to Solomini's final work for this race, and this is very interesting because it's a complete change of tactics here. You've got Solomini, he's again in the orange cap, the blinkers, the Baffert blue shadow roll, and they're actually going to start him off on the inside, and he's going, going in front and leading the workout here, which rarely you see. You tend to see the good horses are positioned outside and come from the back in these works, but we'll roll it here. And there they go. I mean, they're broken off. You see some aggressiveness from the jockey kind of waking Solomini up early. They're really moving along here. I mean, this was a bullet workout, but you see Solomini kind of got ridden pretty hard at the start of the war. This horse is just, I don't know if this is Restoring Hope again, but he is, he's got a big hold on this horse here. But this is interesting because it might tip off maybe they're going to try to go to the front with Solimene. I don't know, or maybe they just put him in front to get more out of him in the work. Baffert likes to see his good horses, work pretty hard in the morning compared to most trainers. So, just a change of tactics there. Solimene went to the front in this work, and, this was a better work for him here. I mean, it was, last time out down the lane was discouraging, but he looks very good here. So, maybe just a lazy horse in the morning. And, boy, they kept to him. I mean, it was a pretty aggressive workout, but whoever this horse is here, I don't know if it's Restoring Hope or not. Maybe you can let me know in the comments section. But okay, getting back to Solimene, we're going to watch a replay of his December 9th race in the Grade 1 Love Futurity. Okay, Solimene's going to be breaking from post position number 3 here. You can obviously McKinsey out in post 5 with the Mike Pegram colors. Solimene's got a good stalking position here. He's outside. This is an ideal trip. The 4-horse here, whoever this is had some trouble going into that turn. McKinsey kind of got floated out about 4 wide. Now McKenzie's going on with it, and Solimine's kind of in an interesting spot here. You got a 60-1 on a rail. Basically, these two horses both could beat 30-plus lengths here if the chart's correct. So, right now you got McKenzie looming up. Here's Instilled Regard, and Solimine's kind of been shuffled back. He's shuffled back to last right now. He's got a wall of horses in front of him here. He's kind of got to get out. These two horses are going to quit. So you got McKenzie, the first one to go, and Instilled Regard makes this wide turn move to hook McKenzie. These two riders both may have moved a little too soon here. It was a pretty good ride on Solimene, especially to this point. I mean, he did kind of get shuffled, but he got off. He got outside the traffic. He didn't move too soon. He's got dead aim. I mean, these are two very classy horses here, and two classy horses that can finish. And you see Solimene, really just runs a great race here to grind him down. So, I mean, this was an impressive performance. I mean, if this horse steps forward from 2 to 3, there's a reason he's 3 to 2 more in line, and you see the reason there. I mean, this was a good race. He's kind of got a bit of a lazy horse. He doesn't gallop out well. You go back to you see the gallop out. We'll go back here just a touch. What you'll end up seeing is, he goes by McKenzie and Instilled Regard, but both of these horses come back on quick after the wire, to put them away. I mean, that's kind of what you saw in that morning workout 2 back, and what you saw here. I mean, when Solimene doesn't have to do it, he, when the money's down and the race is on, he's there. But, in the morning, it looks like they've got to really ask him to get work out of him. And, he's not going to win any gallop out awards. So, but that is Solimene winning the Grade 1 Low South Maturity. He got disqualified for coming in a bid here. But, I mean, this wasn't anything major. There was big controversy over this. Some people thought it was the right call. Other people didn't. But still, he beat 2 excellent horses here. Moving along to the 4-horse Magnum Moon for Todd Pletcher. His debut race was good enough that it got its own video here. You could see. I'll post a link to it in the comments section, so anything you want to know about Magnum Moon's debut race, you can find there, because we covered that race, very in depth. But he come back after that race to run February 15th, second time out of Tampa. It was an optional 75 1X. There were 2 pretty nice horses in there. I mean, these second and third place horses. I mean, Tampa allowance races are sometimes a roll of the dice. Sometimes you get one come up soft. And other times, you get one that'll come up with a shorter field, but some 2 or 3 real high-quality horses in it. And that's what this one happened to be here. What surprised me about Magnum Moon, I thought that he was ridden by Saez. It was a pure education race. Just as you see with the 2-horse, the second-time starter of Mark Cassie, Curlin's Honor, how they gave him an education in the second start. That was the same thing here. I mean, you got a horse 6 furlongs right on the pace. He's got very good natural speed. Showed it that day. They stretch him out to a mile and 40-yard 2-turn race. There wasn't a lot of pace in this race, and Saez, basically tried to take him back behind what was a very slow pace. It got a -9 at the first call. So a route race with a -9 at the first call is kind of moderate pace. A -7 at the second call. So that was a slow early, fast late race shape. And, in just a field of 5, Magnum Moon only had 1 horse beat early. It said settled in hand. So, Saez definitely tried rating tactics. Again, 10 cents on a dollar. It's not the way you would, if you're trying just to win the race, you would let this horse show his natural speed. But, the bettors who pounded him to 10 cents on a dollar we're kind of given some anxious moments by, Saez just trying to give this horse an education. So it was a good performance, though. I mean, this horse come home late, got a late pace figure of 101. We're gonna go ahead and watch this race. Like I said, his first race was covered by us in depth. If you want to go look at that, but we're gonna watch the February 15th race from Tampa for Magnum Moon. All right, here's this is Magnum Moon here, post position 5. He's got the outside post in the field. What you're going to see is Saez is going to take him in hand early. He was a horse that obviously has got a lot of natural speed. He showed speed last time. But Saez is going to try to drop him in, get him covered up, take some dirt in his face. This race is about giving him an education. I mean, if you're pounding a horse at 1-9, this isn't what you want to see. I mean, Saez is, they're going very slow up here. The two horses, the three horses, look how big a hold Morales is standing straight up in the air on the 4 horse. Basically a slow pace up front. Magnum Moon kind of wants to go here, but Saez is just, trying to get him to relax. This is, take him back a little, get a little dirt in his face, try to get him to finish well. I mean, this is just an educational type race, and they're hoping to get a paid workout. Now you see a horse race begin up here. There's 2 horses. The rider's asking him for everything he has. Morales on the 4s, all in. He's going to a left-handed whip. He's riding very hard here. Saez just still is just moving sweetly here as Magnum Moon. And Saez is just steering him around. I mean, he's steering him out wide into the 4 path just so he can have a clear run. But he tips off cover here. And, I mean, Saez just still has not moved on this horse. These 2 horses here, the 2 and the 4, were kind of nice horses. I mean, they're horses that would be competitive in an allowance race at Gulfstream. But there you see Magnum Moon just draw off and win with alarming ease. Well, not really alarming. Just he draws off and wins with ease. As a 1-9 favorite, I guess alarming no one. So good educational prep for Magnum Moon. There he is. That's the 4 horse. All right, moving along to the 5 horse here. This is Higher Power for Donnie von Hemmel, a son of Medaglia d'Oro. He's out of a dam named Alternate. Now, an interesting thing about Alternate, she won twice at 11 furlongs, a 2-time winner at 1 3/8. She was beaten just a nose at 1.5 miles. So you've got a lot of stamina through that. Really, I mean, this horse is bred to route top and bottom. I mean, Medaglia d'Oro was a tremendous router. He was at his best, going 9 furlongs, but just a tremendous router in general, and Alternate, a marathon type horse. Strangely, the horse was bet to even money first time out, although it was at Remington Park. So, I mean, that's kind of understandable. But 10 horse field, Higher Power, they made him even money, even though, first time out at 6 furlongs, probably, not the scenario he was bred for sure. But Higher Power run 3rd. The race got an okay number. Both the winner and 2nd place finisher come back to win their next race. So, and indeed, Higher Power did as well. So the top 3 from that race all are next out winners. You see all 3 in italics there. Come back 1 mile, 2nd time at Remington. This time he wasn't the favorite on the stretch out. Kind of surprising. The pedigree, the public at Remington was a little down on their pedigree. But anyway, this was a slow pace this day. You see negative, -8 for the first call, -8 for the second call. Higher Power kind of tracked in 3rd, basically stock track type trip. Come up, got up and won by a head. He made his 3-year-old debut at Oaklawn in January. Almost 5-1 odds. I mean, paid $11.80 to win. And an interesting thing about this race is 2nd place finisher New York Central. You see him in italics there. I Well, that's a Steve Asmussen horse. But anyway, this horse come back and win next time. You know, got an improved figure, and he wanted I want to say it was like 4-1 when he won back. So higher powers kind of going in the right direction, but he is really, really taking a step up here. This is a lightly raced horse that hasn't been exposed. You know, it's got some upside to him, but you know, maybe the kind of horse that you'd keep in mind for third or fourth on your ticket. Donnie Von Hemmel's really taking a shot with him. So that's the 5-horse higher power. The 6-horse here is Pryor for Ron McQuett. You know, Pryor didn't really show much his first 2 starts of his career. He was 9th by 15. They let him go off at 73-1 odds in his second start. He was beaten 17 lengths by the aforementioned New York Central. That was a horse we just talked about. You know, got beat by the Donnie Von Hemmel horse, the 5-horse last time. Anyway, there's New York Central's name appearing in the form again. But anyway, Pryor, you know, stepped forward pretty good in his first start at age 3, third by a length, 27-1. You know, his figure jumped up, you know, double-digit jump up to 80. Another double-digit jump up to a very, very good 94 last time out. It was a muddy track, a muddy sealed track. Got a loose early lead. Just, you know, kind of drew off 7-1. Basically may have taken advantage of the track conditions. Now, it's not out of the question that Pryor is an improving horse. Certainly is an improving horse, and maybe he's got another bit of improvement in him. But the problem here is, you know, he beat a maiden field having it all his own way. Loose lead in the mud, very, very potent, dangerous combination. And there's a lot of speed in this race. Pryor is, you know, going to get an acid test early. And, you know, is probably going to get hot and dirty this time. But that is the 6-horse Pryor. The 7-horse here is Sporting Chance for Dwayne Lucas, a son of Tisnow. Tisnow was actually kind of a late developing horse. Didn't win his Tisnow didn't actually break his maiden until I believe it was either like May 30th or June 1st of his 3-year-old season. And just improved so rapidly that Tisnow actually won the Breeders' Cup Classic at age 3. So, I mean, not breaking his maiden until about May of his 3-year-old season. Needed a couple races to break his maiden. Tisnow flourished, won the Breeders' Cup Classic at 3, won the Breeders' Cup Classic again at 4. And Candy Ride here, the Pacific Classic winner. Just a remarkably talented horse was Candy Ride. In this dam here, Winning Ride, she actually, you know, was beaten less than a length in the Grade 1 Coaching Club American Oaks at 1.25 miles on dirt. So, dirt route, and you get some routing pedigree. I mean, this is just you know, a two-turn pedigree for sure. So, kind of interesting that this horse was showed as much promise as a 2-year-old sprinting as it did. You know, good second, beating just a length and a quarter here in its debut. The horse who beat it come back and win. Then it goes to Saratoga, wires him at Saratoga in a maiden special weight race. The hopeful Grade 1, 7 furlongs, held off Free Drop Billy, Grade 1 winner here, ducked out. Now something happened to sideline Sporting Chance, and he didn't make his 3-year-old debut until February 19th in the Southwest Stakes, which is a race that was run at a very hot pace considering the condition of the track. A muddy sealed track, you know, it was a slow times all day. On that type of track, 23-2 and 47-3 is really rolling along. So we'll go watch a replay of Sporting Chance in the Southwest last time out. Okay, Sporting Chance is breaking from post 2 here. You got a big field of 11. You see he gets off well here. Moreno didn't get off too well, but kind of came surging through here to set the pace. The 4 horses Moreno. So, well, they were going fast, and Moreno was the fastest of them all heading in here. You know, Sporting Chances, you know, he's kind of covered up inside here. He's going to get some mud. You down there. He'll get a little taste of some kickback, but he seems to be, rating kindly enough. He's in a decent position, but they are going fast up here. I mean, this is for these conditions, they're just running way too fast on the front, in my opinion. But you see Sporting Chance coming through to be third right now. The horses to his outside are, really the Zayat horse here is being asked. You see front runner Moreno. Moreno getting pressured all the way. Road to Damascus really took it to Moreno. And now you see Winning Ride looks good here, but the rider had to tap on the brakes and wait. I mean, it looks like he had some run. Now he's got some room inside. Look at all the kickback. He took all the mud and dirt, got into his nostrils and everything. Here you got Moreno. Moreno just went too fast. You see Winning Ride kind of got pinched there. The horse on the outside, that's Combatant, another horse in this race. And Winning Ride's making no impression. Kent DeSormo got a beautiful run up the rail from way off the pace. So, Winning Ride actually came around and got past Moreno for third, but 146 for the, mile and a 16th. Very, very slow time, but the conditions were just an extremely wet, tiring track. We're going to take a look at where the one was early in the race. Okay, you see the one back here. So there's where your eventual winner was. He's just going to get a good rail run. DeSormo's kind of, even having to keep after him a little bit just to keep him along from there. So, boy, this horse gets it. This is like a Calvin Burrell type race. How many times you see a wet track at Churchill Downs in the Derby, Calvin Burrell passing the whole field up the rail somehow, but he's actually following the Lucas horse here, and boy, did everything open up just nice for him. Look at great ride by Kent DeSormo here. But anyway, Winning Ride, you're going to see this horse going to come down. Moreno's going to come out. Combatant and Moreno kind of squeeze him a little there. And, I mean, he's got every right to quit, but he actually keeps battling to get past Moreno for third. So, kind of an inconclusive. I mean, it's just a tough race to kind of, to evaluate. In the mud, horrible conditions, up near a fast pace. Horse hasn't run since the summer in Saratoga. First start in a while. Really tricky read there. Good luck to the bettors, kind of formulating here. But this horse could go anywhere in this race. So, I mean, that is the 7-horse Sporting Chance, D1 and Lucas. The 8-horse here is High North for 30% trainer Brad Cox. A very interesting race is this Kentucky Jockey Club here. You've had a lot of horses come back. There's been 6 horses from this race come back and win a stake race. And we're going to watch the trouble that High North had. It says bothered, steadied, first turn. So he broke from post 8 that day. Let's go take a quick look at High North's early trouble in the Kentucky Jockey Club. Okay, High North broke from post position 8 that day, so he's actually the 8-horse here. We'll watch. Now, a horse inside is going to lose his rider, and it may have affected High North. Let's see here. He's in the yellow cap just outside of this gray horse. And, yeah, there goes the rider. High North kind of look at that. He kind of got bounced around a bit. Still getting interfered with by the loose horse. So it clearly cost him some position there, that's for sure. Okay, getting back to the form of High North, he makes his 3-year-old debut in the Risen Star Stakes. Gets absolutely no pace this day. Kind of runs an even, flat race. We'll take a look at the chart for the Risen Star here real quick. You see that the horse that goes to the lead here is 41 to 1 shot, Snapper Sinclair. He just misses by a nose. The horse that was second early is 21 to 1 shot, Bravazzo. You know, just they're 1-2 all the way around. They make up an exacta that pays, you know, $600. 2 long shots. You know, Noble Indy third at virtually every call. Still Regard fourth, a disappointing fourth at virtually every call. You know, he 3 wide first turn, 5 wide second turn. He couldn't make up any ground. Another closer in the race, you know, Principe Galarmi, you know, was wide against the pace and just, you know, this horse was a horse very well thought of. A lot of people thought was a, you know, pretty serious Kentucky Derby contender, but he got no pace that day and did no running. And, you know, High North is a pace-dependent closer, so, you know, you see here when he wins, he broke his maiden, you know, he come from 5th, but in the Kentucky Jockey Club, after all that early trouble, you know, he passed some horses to be 4th. He just got no pace that day. This is second off the layoff, which is, you know, Brad Cox. It's not a bad angle. He wins 26% second off the layoff, but he wins with every angle pretty much. I mean, you see this 30% trainer at this meet. But High North, there's a lot of speed in this race, and he's not going to have the same problem he had last time, where, you know, it was kind of a merry-go-round race last time, and you know the closers had no shot. So High North might be a horse who, you know, Gary Stevens is just going to, you know, take back off the pace and hope they go too fast. And if they go too fast, pick up the pieces and be 3rd or 4th in the exotic. So that's the 8-horse High North. The 9-horse here is Zing Zang for Steve Asmussen. I hate to just so, you know, cavalierly dismiss, you know, a Steve Asmussen horse who is, you know, kind of has the right running style for the race. There's a lot of real quality speed in here. And he is a, you know, a stretch running closer, but Zing Zang is just, you know, in my opinion, he's overmatched in here. You know, he ran 4th in the Lecomte in Still Regard, but he was beaten 7 lengths that day. They did go a reasonable pace that day. You see +7 to the first call. The Southwest, you know, was another race, even though it only says +7 to the first call and 0. I thought this was a, you know, very quick pace for the conditions. I mean, that track was just a mile and a 16th and 146. You know, with the winner winning by 4.5. That was because the footing was very, very, you know, tiring. So, you know, I thought Zing Zang, you know, should have run a little better last time. He's got the right running style for the race. He's got a good trainer, but we're going to have to cavalierly dismiss him, or else we're going to end up with a video here that goes on for over an hour, and I don't want to waste anybody's time. So that is Zing Zang. All right, moving along here, the 10 horses Combatant for Steve Asmussen. You got a pretty good figure, too, back in the Smarty Jones. Moreno got it all his own way on the front end that day and run a strong race. You know, Combatant didn't have any pace help that day. You know, run a solid second with a good number. Comes back in the Southwest. You get the Muddy Seal track. And he was a horse, if you watch Turning for Home, he looked like he was, he looked like he might win the race. You saw DeSormo kind of roll the dice to come up the fence, but Ricardo Santana rode very confident, tipped Combatant out. You know, he was like 4 or 5 wide coming around the turn, looking like he was the outside closer in the race, and you know, just DeSormo saved all the ground, and his horse just exploded inside. But you know, Combatant, you really get the feeling that he's just kind of just this honest grinding horse. You see the $400,000 springboard mile at Remington Park. You just want level paced. I mean, the whole race he's basically 2 lengths behind. You know, 2 lengths behind at this call, 2 lengths behind at the second call, 1 1/4 here, 2 lengths here, 2 1/4. Just very, you know, here 2 lengths, 1 1/2, 3, 4, 3 1/4. So I mean, Combatant's just kind of a, grinding type of horse, and you see it in his record, 3 seconds. His lone win, one-turn race at Churchill, where they kind of went real fast up front, and the speed died, and he just basically took over. A fast pace would probably suit him. I mean, he's another horse here who I think has got a good shot to be, maybe second, third, fourth in this race, probably more likely third or fourth. But Combatant, he's a horse I'd want on the back end of my ticket, but I would not want him on the front end. Okay, and finally, the 11 horse here is Bodis Maker, 50 to 1 on the morning line, and you could kind of see why. New York Central here beat him 29 lengths. Was beaten 28 lengths by Title Ready here. Did improve last time, run a good second at 30 to 1 in a race that, that was the best race of his life, the 86 number. And, he'd have to make gigantic improvement off of, 12 days rest off of the top. So there's no reason to see why that would be. I mean, Bodis Maker is just, hopelessly overmatched in here. So that's the 11, the hopelessly overmatched Bodis Maker.